jump in here first and introduce, this is what the Professional Development and Learning Department. We have invited our resources, Lori and Andrea from the Gale Professional Learning. It's actually Cengage. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but they do a lot of work with our library media specialist and Dr. Lynn Reynolds. They also do work with our curriculum design and learning innovation group, and they also work with our professional development and learning department. So those of you listening in, we wanted to make you aware that this group works across all departments because they focus on reading, they focus on literacy, and they focus on resources to help. And they're going to tell you about that. But the plug I want to put in here is that this entire week, today is essentially the same as yesterday, but then they're going to build upon that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday so that there are actual applications and a tangible kind of work product that you can walk away with to use wherever you are. So I just want to put that in there and say thank you to the IT team for having us today. You've been absolutely essential to the success of our message getting out. We appreciate you, and thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to learn about this today. So whenever you're ready, Lori, are you going to be presenting and sharing your screen? Or
I am. Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. So for those of you that I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, thank you for joining us. My name is Lori Geiler. I am with Gale. We are a division of Cengage Learning. And like Dr. Isaac said, we work with many, many divisions within JCPS. And we appreciate you joining us today. And for those that might need it, it is Tuesday, April 28th. I know I'm living in kind of a perpetual Groundhog's Day where I keep saying, what day is it and where am I? So I won't take too much of your time, but I am going to go ahead and start my screen share as I do have a PowerPoint to go along with our conversation. So Gale Professional Development eBook Series 101. This is kind of an overview of the product that we are going to be sharing with you. And as Dr. Isaac said, by the end of the week, you're going to leave us with some products, some actionable steps that you can put into place right now that can help you in your professional learning. So our agenda, we're going to quickly discuss who Gale is, why we're here with you today. I want to give you an overview of JCPS's collection. It's a great collection. I'm also going to share how you go about accessing the collection, the tools and Google integration, and then, time permitting, we're going to jump in and actually explore your virtual library. So who Gale is, we are a global provider of products and resources for schools around the world. You can see here at the bottom right, these are some of the LMS systems that we integrate with. We are fully integrated with Google. It's one of my favorite ways to demonstrate this product. I was a Google Classroom teacher up until last August when I joined the Gale team. So here's a little bit more information about us. Gale is at over 130 academic campuses within the state of Kentucky. 98% of all top colleges and universities utilize our resources. These are just some of the Kentucky schools and colleges that use it. So as you're thinking about these products, know that they are very reputable and they're very widely used. We do service students from kindergarten through 12th grade and then on to the collegiate level. You may have also heard the name Gale when it comes to the For Educators product that is being launched within JCPS. It's another tool that we provide to schools. These are some of the Ivy League institutions that utilize Gale. And this is just a great statistic I always like to show out there. 71% of elementary school students are using our products, 78% of middle school, and 84% of high school students. So, and there's over 500,000 teachers in the US that have access to our professional development ebooks. So basically, when you think about Gale, I want you to think about content. It is unlimited content, and it does offer simultaneous use. That's different than a lot of other companies where you have to buy a license for each person that's going to be using the product. The great thing with Gale is every teacher in the district could be in the exact same book at the exact same time, and you could all be collaborating simultaneously. It's very powerful in that way. This is a slide that just kind of shows some of the publishers that we work with. I'm sure you recognize a lot of the names. And as I take away the student-facing titles, these are the professional development publishers. We do work with Dave Burgess Consulting. We work with ASCD and ISTE and Corwin. So all of those publishers are available in the virtual reference library. I do want to mention, as we go through this, if you come across a topic that maybe there's not as much content as you would like, please let the Professional Development and Learning Department know. They are always willing to explore adding to your collection. So basically, when you think about Gale, I want you to just think about the professional development from this point of view. It does provide you with personalized professional learning. This isn't going to be ELA teachers sitting through a math seminar. It's not going to be science teachers learning about social studies. This is going to be a tool that will meet you where you are at and help you refine your teaching practice. It can be tied to building and district and state directives. And as you know, as you improve your practice, your student outcomes will also improve. The 4 pictures here on the right are just some of the titles that you have access to. Know that this is all digital format. It is going to be full text versions of these books, but it is also cross-searchable. You don't just get handed an ebook version and you're expected to read it from front to back. It is completely cross-searchable. So if you have an issue that you're dealing with or an area that you want to see yourself improve, you can search that term and you will get results from multiple books that come back to you at a chapter level. All of the ebooks are designed for mobile devices. So if you are working on your laptop, great. Your desktop, great. If you're working on your iPhone, you can even do it that way. Tablet, anything that you have, please know that these ebooks will work on that format. And like I said, it is 24/7 unlimited simultaneous access. The ebook collection that JCPS has made an investment in is aligned to the Danielson framework for teaching. So I'm hoping you're aware of this, but the Danielson framework for teaching is the most widely used method of defining effective teaching practices. It's adopted in over 20 states, and we have curriculum experts that read these books and then align it to the proper teaching domains and dimensions. You have multiple ways to access this collection, and that's wonderful because we know not all teachers go in the same way. You can definitely use the LibGuide, which is provided by your library media services. When you do that, it is going to look like this picture here at the left. You'll see that Gale in Context for Educators icon is at the top, and we talked about that a second ago. And then you will see the icon for the professional development ebooks. I know the link is also going to be in your PDL portal. But regardless of where you access it, you are going to want to look for this icon. It lets you know that these are your professional development ebooks. Once you click on that icon, you will be taken to a screen that looks like this here on the left. It is your sign-in page. Your password is quite simple, JCPSPD. Once you enter that, your landing page is this picture here at the right. And I'll walk you through the login process momentarily.
Hey, Lori, may I ask a question? For that password, is it case sensitive?
You know what? I don't believe it is, but we will try both ways when we go live into the portal.
Okay.
It is, and it works for both uppercase and lowercase.
Okay, great. Go. Thank you.
So this is what an article level looks like. Once you've gone into the library and you have found a title or you've done a search, you're going to find a piece of content that looks like this. We have lots of tools and accommodations that are available for you. These 3 that I have zoomed in on are some of the most impactful, both personally and as a teacher. So if you're using Gale products with your students, know that it is translatable to over 40 languages just by clicking on that. If you yourself are bilingual and you would choose to do your professional development in a second language, by all means, please do. We also have the ability to increase your font size. Studies have shown that increasing the font size improves comprehension. So just with the click of a mouse, especially if you are accessing these on a tablet or a cell phone, or you're like me and your eyes just get tired of staring at a screen by the end of the day. Then, of course, you do have the text-to-speech option. Using that icon there, any chapter or an entire book can be read to you. You can even download this information as an MP3, listen to it while you go for a walk in the afternoon, and maybe one day when we all get back to normal, you can listen to it while you're at a child's soccer practice or lacrosse practice. But just know that that option is there. We also have the ability to take notes and highlight within any piece of content. That works simply by selecting some text. You will get a pop-up that looks just like this. You're able to highlight in one of 6 choices. Then you have the option of adding notes. And once you do that, you interact with it in any way, your notes and highlights will automatically populate at the top of the page so that you know it was properly saved. You will also be given the option to define a word. As we're reading these books, some of us, it's been a very long time since we were in school and learning about education. So there could always be new words or new buzzwords that pop up. And if you need to define it, there is no need to leave the virtual library. You can just define the word right there on the page. So moving along, the great thing about Gale eBooks is they're collaborative. This isn't just for you. Part of professional development is that community, creating that collective efficacy. Everybody's working toward the same goal. So when you find things that you think would help your fellow teachers or your entire staff, if you are a principal, you can definitely share that content with others. Google Classroom is always located at the top. It is a persistent toolbar. You can send information straight there. I like to think about things at my old school. We would always get things on Motivational Monday. And our principal would kind of send out just a short snippet of information, and we were asked to read it. And it was created in the classroom as an assignment. So she was able to see when we clicked into it, kind of her way of making sure things happen. And you can also do that. If you are part of a resident educator program or a new teacher program, you can use the Google Classroom as a mentor to set up assignments for your mentee. And that way, when they do the work, it saves it as an artifact so that you can prove your professional learning. And again, that is right there. We also have the Get Link tool. The Get Link creates a persistent URL. This is a living, breathing document. So when you interact with it in any way, shape, or form, you're going to want to save your work, whether you share it to the Google Classroom, whether you Get Link, or whether you send it to your Google Drive. You want to make sure that that work is saved so that you can go back and access it later. So speaking of Google Drive, it also works with OneNote, but I'm a Google person. Those options are going to be right there. So if you ever need to send a document, an audio file, an image, it goes direct there. Super, super easy. So let's go ahead and explore live into your virtual library. Today, I'm going to access it through your JCPS LibGuide. Like I said, here is the link for the For Educators tool. And if I scroll down just slightly, you'll see the professional eBooks. Here's your sign-in page. I'm going to do lowercase JCPS EB. And there, sure enough, it absolutely took me straight in. So this is your landing page. And as we said earlier, it does align to the Danielson framework. So here along the left, you are going to see the 4 learning domains. We have the planning and preparation, the classroom instruction, you have instruction, and then professional responsibilities. And within each of those, you will see all of the dimensions. I think this aligns perfectly to your teacher evaluation system. So if you know that there is an area where you need to see improvement, you can absolutely jump straight to that domain or dimension. Here in the middle are thumbnail pictures. I apologize if I'm scrolling too fast. I don't want to make anyone seasick. You're going to see 4 thumbnail pictures, but please don't think that that is all that is available to you. The number here inside the parentheses lets you know exactly how many titles align to domain 1. And you can toggle left and right if you want to sort of browse like you would on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You can click into the entire domain 1, and it will give you a different look at the titles. From here, you can click directly into the book, and it will take you to the table of contents. I do want to point out that there are always 2 views. We have the traditional text view, but you also have the ebook view, and this is really a matter of personal preference. From here, you can get it in the 2-page form, and I am going to zoom out just a bit so that everything fits on one screen. And this will allow you to toggle through the book left to right as if you were flipping the pages. For my sake, I don't know why, but I actually prefer the text view. So I am going to jump back to the text view. And that is what it looks like from here. I start with the front cover. I have the hyperlink back to the entire article. These are some of the tools we discussed earlier. You have the translation tool. Using the drop-down menu, I can go to over 41 different languages. Now, by all means, this is not every language that students speak. So if there is a language that is missing or there's something you would like us to look at, please shoot us an email. Gale is wonderful about taking those customer comments and going back and adding things. We totally believe in continually learning. So we are open to those suggestions. Here's my table of contents. That was the view we saw earlier. Here's the book view. We also have a citation tool. If you need to submit work as an artifact to get those continuing education units and you have to cite the resource, this does it for you. You can do it in MLA, you can do it in APA, you can do it in Chicago 17, and then you can export it to any one of these items. Your Google Drive is right there. If you just want to attach this at the bottom of a piece of work, you simply select it, copy and paste where you need it. You can also send to. This tool it's very intuitive. If you want to send the document to Google Drive, to OneDrive, or email, it's done via the Send To tool. You can also download and print. I know that sometimes I just need to have a paper copy in my hand. You can do that. Again, here is your Get Link, your Highlights and Notes tool, your Google Drive, your OneDrive, your email. And again, if you needed to download it, it is there as well. I'm going to jump back to the main page. I'd like to do a search with you. I was fortunate enough to log into the tail end of the session before me, and I was very inspired by what the ladies were sharing about equity. So I will start with an equity search. And as I started typing, you can see it's going to give me suggestions. Simply hit enter, and I have 84 results. If you notice here, they're from different books. Well, there's a lot in that book, obviously. The thing about the Gale Search, you are not going to get an entire book returned to you. Teachers are busy. You don't have time to read 300 pages. It's just not. It's not going to happen. I know better. I was a teacher with you. So the great thing about this is it returns it at a chapter level. It's much more digestible in those small chunks, and it relates to everything that I need to learn. So I am going to just go ahead and open up maybe one or two of these. And as I do that, this is 12 pages. That's amazing. I can totally work with 12 pages. 100, not going to read it. Here's the font size. Maybe I need it a little bit bigger because I didn't sleep well or whatever issue I'm having. When I'm ready and I find some information that I really connect with, I select it with my mouse and automatically you see my toolbar pop up. My highlight choices, I'm going to go with green today. Once I do that, I can take a note. Excuse me, I am a terrible typer and talker at the same time, but I put in some words there, and when I click save, it has automatically populated here at the top. As I come down, I love these sidebars. Sidebars are just going to be there to help you. They're added information. Obviously, this is giving me definition of words that I may need. I can select more text. I want to highlight it in, well, a different color, let's say blue this time. And maybe this time I'm thinking as a principal, and I found this paragraph to be very inspiring, and I want to do something like that motivational Monday. I could say here, please read and attempt to implement in your classroom this week. And as I hit save, again, you can see my notes and highlights have now gone to 2. As we stated earlier, you want to make sure you do something with this work that you have created. If I were to log out now, it would be lost. So you have several options. You can send it to Google Classroom, creating an assignment and with a due date. That way you have the artifact and you can prove how many of your staff members logged in and read this. You could also send it to Google Drive, or you can simply get link. Maybe this was something that you wanted to post on your school's website or on your LibGuide. Maybe you're the librarian and you just found something that you think would benefit the entire school community. You can use that get link and post this on a Weebly or a Padlet or anywhere else where your students might be getting information. So another thing that you can do is using the highlights and notes. Instead of sending the entire 12-page document, maybe you want to make it even smaller, because during this NTI, people are overwhelmed, and we're getting near the end of the year where you're going to have to make those decisions about, are they meeting the competency? Are they not meeting? And you're communicating with everyone. So I can just view my notes and highlights. The 2 snippet paragraphs that I took, the notes that I added, and I can send this to the Google Classroom. I can send this to email. Everyone has time for just a 1-paragraph read, and it will continue to help you with your professional practice. Know that when the staff receives this, they will get a hyperlink back to the entire article. So if they are really moved by this, they connect with the author, they love the tone, with a click of that, they go back to the full article, not just what you had snipped out. And then, of course, they can always hyperlink to the entire book and read it from cover to cover. So I do want to pause for a moment because I'm screen sharing. I don't see the chat. So Andrea, are there any questions in the chat that I need to address?
None that I can see, Lori. Our host may have a different view than I do.
Oh, okay.
No, we don't have questions. We have a lot of excitement, and I think people weren't aware of this. So we are just really excited. Great resource, and they're really enjoying this. So yeah, you're good.
Great. So a few things that I do want to add, and hopefully we'll get out of here maybe a minute or two early. I always like to give you back some time in your day. The original collection that was purchased was intended to support new teachers and that mentor-mentee relationship. So you're going to see a lot of things as it pertains to lesson planning and technique in the classroom. If there are other issues that you need support with, whether it is social emotional learning or inclusion or other things outside of technique, please let the PDL department know and they can help you with that. I personally am a big fan of improving my practice. So jumping in here, I go back to my last teacher evaluation. I find where I have the greatest area for potential growth. And I kind of come in here and just peruse the titles. I know we should not choose a book by the title cover, or excuse me, by its cover, but let's face it, we all do. So jumping in here, this is the domain of instruction. There is a lot of information, especially about mindfulness. The Mindful School Leader is one of my favorite titles in this collection. I have gone through and I've used it a lot with different districts. Know that it is there for you. I also really like the Inclusion Toolbox. I think you saw those in my PowerPoint presentation. This is a Corwin title. It's from 2015, so it's a little dated, but it is still extremely relevant. From the table of contents, again, I can jump to any of this information. So let's see. I always like to look at pictures. And another thing I want to share with you is feel free to create a Google Classroom that utilizes these resources, but don't be limited by the resources. If there are pictures, or if there are audio files, or if there are video files that you think relate to this topic as well, add those together. We are all working toward a collective goal. So please make sure you're using multimedia to reach your teachers and to set those up. That is most of what I wanted to cover with you. I know we have a few minutes left. So if there are any questions, please, by all means, go ahead and ask them. If you want me to go back over the information one more time, actually, I'm so sorry. I should have done this before. There is one other tool that I do want to share with you because it is my favorite tool. If I go in and I do something like lesson plans and I come back and I have 233 results, that's huge. I have no idea of where I'm going within that. we have an amazing tool that helps us to filter our results. You can obviously filter using publication title, content level, languages, etc. But the topic finder is going to create for me a visual representation of all of the subtopics within lesson planning. So I'm a visual learner. I always have been. This is what's wonderful. The red box or the darker the color is going to mean the more content that is available, and the size also matters. So the smaller the square, the less content's available. But if I jump into teaching methods as it pertains to lesson planning, here at the right, I've created hyperlinks to my 35 results. Amazing tool that can help me narrow it down. And as I peruse those, if I think maybe that was the wrong selection, I can reset my topic finder just like that and click into another box. So maybe it was instructional design. And again, within my subtopic, I can do another subtopic. Just a great tool to be aware of as you go in and you start to search terms. They can be a bit overwhelming and very broad. And just as your students are doing research and they need to narrow their focus, this helps you to do the same thing. Okay, now I really am done. So if anybody has a question, please feel free to jump in and ask.
Thank you so much, Lori. This has been great. We don't have questions in the chat right now. I think everyone is just soaking in this wonderful information. We have just a couple more minutes. Could you go back for some of the viewers that just joined us to show how they originally get to where you are?
Sure. So I went to the Library Media Services homepage. This is their LibGuide. If you need to, you can always just Google JCPS LibGuide, and on your Google search, if you don't have this bookmarked, it will be your top return. Click on that, and your professional development ebooks are right here. It is not going to prompt me for a password since I have already logged in once today, but if you are prompted or when you are prompted, your password is JCPSPD, and then you're here. Most of the tools that you are going to see are exactly what you think they are. It is very user-friendly. It is very intuitive. So please, by all means, jump in, explore. I hope you'll join us later in the week. As I said, we are going to build on each session so that by the end of the week, you'll be able to leave with a workable product that you can implement right away for your professional learning.
And Kathleen, I'm going to jump in too and reiterate for those who join later that the Gale resources in the professional libraries, they are currently being used with our library media, our professional development and learning department, and then also our curriculum design and learning innovation department. So we want you to know that there will probably be multiple avenues for signing in. The most visual way is usually what Lori just showed. We also have a way to access it through the professional development and learning internal site. And then I know the curriculum development and learning design may also have a different way. The point is there's collaboration with this company across multiple departments in the district. And we all see value in the use of this product, working directly with students or working on your own professional learning and growth. Thank you, Lori and Andrea, and also Kathleen and the IT team. We appreciate you.
My pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow.